Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the eSports Report. Benson joined by wonderful Max for today's show. We're about to get into Vulcun picks, but first, breaking news. In our top 10 players, in terms of hardpoint caps, has just changed his @ on Twitter to Rise Burns. So, potential roster movement there. What happens to Orbit later on today? Who knows? Is this expected?
Good pick now on Elevate.
Do you see that happening?
So Rise tweeted out before they were making a huge announcement earlier today.
Is this that huge announcement?
I mean, it was announced they're going to be attending Gfinity, so I thought, oh, that's a big announcement. You know, good for Rise. Now it looks like they've picked up, I believe, the captain of Orbit. So, which player is leaving? You know, is it really? It's not going to be TCM or Apathy because those are two players have been shining for them. Is it Chino? They're getting rid of their their tenured player in AW.
I mean,
or they're getting rid of Wheats.
Burns has played with Wheats before.
You're right.
Bear that in mind.
Automatic reload.
Chino got world starred in a 1v2.
Oh, you're right.
And Dallas by Clay.
Oh God, you're right.
I'm just saying, when you look at it like that, I think the choice is relatively simple.
I mean, does Burns really make that Rise team so much better? Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Chino
officially.
Orbit Chino? That'd be interesting.
I mean, we've had absolutely nothing official word from the commission, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Just some
we'll
Twitter,
see.
Some Twitter stuff.
We will see, yeah. Always good to get some roster mania out there. But we shall, as we said, wait and see. But now it's time to Vulcun.
Vulcun picks.
Vulcun picks. Let me teach you guys at home how to Vulcun. Number 1, create your account at vulcun.com. Not very difficult. Use code MLGCOD for 100. This is ridiculous, by the way. 100% deposit match up to $1,000.
That's absolutely nuts.
You deposit $1,000, Vulcun's gonna match you. You're gonna have $2,000 in your account. That's pretty badass. Then you can join a league with other users. You can play for virtual money or real money. So you can kind of test your ways, see how good you really are.
Right.
And the way it works, you draft 8 players. You have a $10,000 salary cap. And you pick that team, and hopefully those players play well. You can select a shot caller as well. They earn 25% more points than the rest of your squad. And you can, of course, fight for first in your league by watching the Pro League Season 3. Now, little note at the bottom there. Player values change based on performance and popularity. Casters, we've been kind of going through it. Trying to help out everyone at home. And we thought, hey, how better can we help out? Rather than just telling you this is a team I picked and this is a team Max picked, then actually going in depth, taking a look at every single player on the day and telling you who you should pick, who you should avoid, and who you should definitely pick.
Right.
That would be your shot caller.
Exactly. So our new segment, Boom, Bust, and Bargain. Ben, who's our booming player today, Ben?
Beautiful. Has to be Zuma. The guy is an absolute god. Coming in at $1,470. He is going to be essential for your picks today. Make him your shot caller. Earn 25% boost on him. Every time I've drafted him, I felt like an absolute god inside. He's done such wonders for me. Always coming out playing extremely well. You look at FaZe versus Epsilon, you know FaZe is going to run through them. Right. Let's say some fluke of nature, Epsilon do win a map. Force a game 4. That's even better. That's even better for you. You get a second hard point with Zuma running around. Honestly, how can you not draft this guy today?
Honestly, I mean, he's going to be worth $1,470.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
That's a steal.
Good price range for Zuma there. Not really eclipsing your 1,500. Like 1,500 to 1,600, then you're kind of like, okay, I'm really investing a lot into this player. But Zuma, great pick. I mean, being playing so consistently in Pro League.
I mean, he's at the top 10 in every single statistical category, essentially.
I mean, right now, without a question, top 5 player in the game, 100%.
The guy is extremely good. And if you're drafting a team right now, of course, you can still draft your teams. Go straight at them.
Zuma,
without a doubt. Now, Max, talk to me about the busts for today. There's going to be more than one.
Right, so we have 2, or essentially 5. Because our first bust of the day is everybody on Epsilon.
Do not draft an Epsilon player. You will regret it. Normally, you think, okay, this is great. They could potentially go to Game 5. So look at how many times they've gone to a Game 5 and lost.
4 times.
4 times so far. So you think, okay, I'm going to get a lot of points. And Royalty is the only player on the squad above $1,000 in salary. So you're thinking, all right, I can steal. I can get 3 players, sub $1,000. I'm going to be laughing. This is going to be great. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Stay away from it, because the most likely scenario from this is FaZe come out and completely destroy them. 3-0, I don't even think you're going to see that second hard point.
No, I mean, the most expensive player on their team is going to be Royalty, their aggressive sub.
He's at 1,054.
Right. So, I mean, if you kind of like, you know, I only have like $900, $800 left, you're kind of like, I need to pick an Epsilon player. Maybe you should think about really just rearranging your team a little bit, allocating
100%.
your money a little bit better.
100%.
So avoid Epsilon. Ben, who is our fifth bust?
It's going to be Facento. Definitely do not recommend drafting Facento. Comes in at a very, very steep $1,349. I think a lot of that is due to his performance last week, dropping plus 50 kills and a hard point. You look at that and you're like, okay, he just had a godlike game. But going up against a rising Elevate this evening, and he has the second lowest KD on Orbit. How many kills realistically is he going to be picking up? Then you have to look at the series in a whole. Orbit versus Elevate, maybe it does go to that game 4. Right. But I still feel for the price that's being asked for Facento today on Vulcun, I just don't think it's worth it. I think you can pick up someone else. Agreed.
I mean, I said before, he's really going to need to step up if this Orbit team wants to succeed. They just essentially made a roster move, so he's going to have to step up even more. But, I mean, almost a $1,400 price asking for Facento. I don't think it's really worth it at all. Like I said, second lowest KD on Orbit. Going up against a tough matchup in Elevate. Avoid Facento. Avoid those 5 players.
Yep, I wouldn't draft anyone from Epsilon. Wouldn't draft Facento either. Definitely pick up Zuma. But then there's a couple of bargains that we stumbled across today on Vulcun. One of which is going to be Saints. This absolutely blew my mind. $945 for Saints. This has to be the biggest steal of the day.
100%. Under $1,000, 100%. The biggest steal of the day. Elevate versus Orbit has the potential to go to 4 games.
It does.
They could, pull off that S&D. That would really be Orbit's, best chance of winning a map.
And that's always the goal, right? Just get to that game 4 when you're drafting, because it just gives you that extra hard point, more points for your players to potentially pick up. And you think about it, Saints doesn't really have a dominant sub that he's going up against.
Very true.
So I expect to see him just run riot. So for $945 of your salary cap, take him. Take him, run with him. Honestly, I think he's going to do wonders. But there's one more player as well that we thought was an absolute steal today, Max. Who's that player?
That player is going to be TJ Halley, also from Team Elevate. Ben, like we said, Saints is the best bargain under $1,000. Just over $1,000 was TJ.
Literally just.
$1,002. So for 2 more George Washingtons, TJ is going to be the best pick for above $1,000. Just a little more expensive than Saints, but statistically a little better as well, Ben. A 1.15 KD, like we saw before, top 5 in the league, and then a 33.7 Slayer rating as well. Also top 5 in the league. These 2 players, I feel like, are essential for every teammate.
Right. You compare Saints and TJ together, a 1.15 from TJ, like Max said. Saints with a 1.05. Then the Slayer rating, 33.7 for TJ, 30.6 from Saints. So depends where you're at with your salary. If you can only really afford one, I would definitely say, look at Saints. Honestly, though, the price of both of them, I would say go for both.
100%.
I think you draft both those 2 players, I think you're laughing to the bank at the end of the day in your Vulcun picks. But we should take a look at what our 2 contestants of the casters today picked. We had both Matt and Puckett draft some teams today. Curious to see if they agree or disagree with our Boom, Bargain, and Bust. Let's take a look at Matt's picks. No surprise, Zuma, the first player he drafted
100%.
today. 1470 his price, a 1.13 KD, average player rating of 33.5. Unbelievable pick. And he also has gone for that bargain of TJ at $1,002. Safe pick there in Slacked, I feel, from Elevate and Octane. Every time he plays, I think you should be drafting Octane.
100%. I mean, he's going to select Zuma as his shot caller, so he's going to get those 25% extra points as well. So Zuma, look for him to put up at least, 180 to 200 points per, for today. Octane as well, also, 1.27 KDs, absolute beast. So strong top 4 out of Matt. Take a look at his second 4. His team, Waffles are good. Strong team name, strong team as well. I mean,
Saints too.
There's the bargain duo right there. Havoc is a player from Isolation I feel like is your go-to guy to grab from ISO. That roster is kind of unsure so far about your core 4. But Havoc is a player, consistently, he'll drop almost 30 kills a game. You see right there with a Slayer rating of 29.06. It's just about getting that high score. Facento from Orbit. He's picked one of our bust players, Ben. Gonna be really interesting to see how Facento performs tonight. If he's make or break for this team at all.
Don't agree with that pick at all.
Nope.
Not a good pick in my honest opinion, but we'll see how Matt's picks fare later on in the evening. Great pick there in Clay, though, I think. That's a really good one.
$1,700.
1710, steep, expensive, but you know what you're going to get with Clay. And again, I think that's going to be a 3-0 series too, so see you pick up a lot of points. Moving on, let's take a look at Puckett's picks, though. He kicks things off with Enable at 1642. Pretty pricey, I'm going to be honest. Also goes for Royalty. Don't agree with that in the slightest. Think you should have dodged that one. I mean, that's at $1,054 you could have put elsewhere. Drafting Octane, though, great decision from him, 1540. Also Nameless from TK. That's an interesting move.
I mean, Nameless has a 32.41 Slayer rating. That's a big number, really. You wouldn't really assume Nameless would be really dropping that high of a Slater rating per game. Going up against Envy, that series has the potential to go to 4 or 5 games, in my opinion, if they're able to steal the S&D. But for Octane, that's going to be Puckett's shot caller. So taking a look at the team matchups, Matt picked an aggressive SG and Zuma. Puckett picked, a post-up AR and Octane. So kind of really different team makeup so far out of the first 4 players. Octane really being the consistent factor there. Taking a look at his next 4, though, he kind of went with some of the Matt's picks. Went with Saints, your bargain player of the day. Huge pick as well. Also going with Havoc from Isolation Ben, but then picking up one different player from FaZe as well as Sly from Elevate.
Yeah, goes for Attach at 1501. Like that pick. Who do you think has a stronger Vulcun team?
Looking at it right now, just by names, I mean, I would say Matt might be able to edge this one out against Puckett.
I think Matt having Zuma as a shot caller could come out props. Although, if Octane can potentially get that extra hardpoint game, that's the difference there for me. Whichever one of those two could potentially go the furthest in terms of the series, I think that sets you up pretty well. And I just got an official email.
An official email?
About the trades which went down.
Who was it? We know it was Burns.
Burns has been traded to Rise.
For Chino.
No.
Sweet.
No.
Apathy?
Nope.
No way. TCM?
Rise traded TCM to Orbit in exchange for Burns.
Wow. Breaking
News, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. And on that breaking news bombshell, it's time to go to commercial break. When we return, I believe Sir Christopher Puckett and Lord Maven will be guiding you through all of the evening's Pro League.